sitting down under a tree, just daydreaming, thinking about stuff. All of a sudden, apple falls down to his head, and he thinks that, oh my gosh, why does this apple fall down, not up? Imagine this happened today. Right now, you're sitting down, and I have some people who live in countries where you have coconuts, right? In Malaysia, in South India, and there are some countries you have coconuts. Imagine you're under a coconut tree, and if it is actually the coconut that is falling down, then we have a serious problem. That I'm not going to go into that. But you're sitting down and below an apple tree, apple is falling down, and then do you think you will have the time to ask the question? First of all, apple is falling down, and first of all, you might be actually like checking your phone while you are below the apple tree, right? So you're looking at the phone, and all of a sudden the apple is falling down. Like, what? Who threw that to me? And then you continue going back on WhatsApp. Why am I sharing this thing? What I'm going to share with you is completely counterintuitive, completely counterinstinctive. It doesn't make sense to you probably right now. Like, you have heard this expression: a bored mind is a workshop of the devil. A bored mind is a workshop of the devil. I'm going to tell you that is absolutely wrong today. It was probably true long time ago when devils were walking around in the community or whatever, middle age or whenever it was. But today, a bored mind is a workshop of angels. Let me explain this idea in a second. But if you understand this information, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a business owner, if you're somebody who's a professional, somebody who's passionate about building something phenomenal, you will learn how to do that today. But if you don't know this information, you will be just believing what everybody else is, whatever BS that you're being fed by media, by everybody else, by your culture, by your family, by your friends, and you just live a normal life and probably like live just like a regular person, and then that's it. You might not be able to do anything remarkable. It's true for me too, so I'm not blaming you, right? So what am I talking about here? Think about it. This guy, Isaac, he had a first name, which was Isaac Newton. Let's call him Isaac. Isaac was sitting down, sitting below an apple tree, and while he was sitting along an apple tree, he was trying to think about stuff, right? And he was daydreaming. So in other words, he was sitting around half conscious, half unconscious, and daydreaming, thinking about life and imagining stuff, and all of a sudden his apple is falling down. And then he had the patience and the mental capacity to ask the question, instead of looking at phone, he had the mental capacity to ask the question, why is this thing coming down? That doesn't even make sense. That doesn't even make sense. Do you see that? So this guy was able to do that. Why? Because it was a bored mind. It was a bored mind. It's another guy called Einstein. And this guy was like imagining stuff. He was like, what if one train is going at the speed of light in one direction and another train is going at the speed of light in another direction? And if a person who's sitting on there is this like love affair going on between the person in one train and another train. Shah Rukh Khan is on one train, or if you don't know who Shah Rukh Khan is, Tom Cruise on one train, and Kajol is on another side, or Julia Roberts is on the other side, and they look at each other from a train that is traveling like the speed of light. Another train is traveling at the speed of light. And if they look at each other, who sees who, and how do they see each other? Who will have visibility at first? What kind of crazy stuff is this? Who has time to think about this kind of things? That's what Einstein did. Does that make sense? So a bored mind is a workshop of innovation. So in other words, we need to be bored. We need to sit alone, away from this, like wherever you're seeing this, Away from everything else, being able to be in nature, being able to imagine, daydream, think about stuff. And that's when the highest level of creativity will come. So, one thing that I do is I try to connect with nature. I go to places. I go to like park. When I wrote my first book, I went to a park where almost nobody went. So I will walk around and think about stuff. Like try to come up with original ideas. Almost original ideas, I guess. Right. So that's what you're going to do. Right. So the philosophy is that you need to have your own time, my time, me time. So you need to have a time with yourself. You need to schedule a time for you to renew and rejuvenate and think about stuff. Like we just started a life just like that when we were like, I don't know, 4 or 5. Somebody sent you to a school and then you like learned A, B, C, something else, some words, some other things, and then you learn something called like numbers. Oh my gosh, it looks like this. Almost everywhere it is looking like this, 2, 3, 4, like that. And then you learn how to add and multiply and subtract and differential equations and integration and calculus and trigonometry. Oh my gosh, then we got a job and then we got married, then we have kids, then we have a business and we don't know how to run the business. And then when we are 60 years old, 70 years old, life is gone, life is done. Is that what you want from life? If you truly want to live your life, find time for yourself. Find time to be bored, out of death, bored, sitting in silence. Finding some place where you could go for a walk, not listening to music. You can listen to music if you want. Not talking to anybody, not going on WhatsApp, not going on social media. Being able to daydream, being able to be half conscious and half unconscious. Think about that. And if you have a business, this is the best ideas will come from there. Like try to find some time on Sunday, Saturday, Friday, whenever you want to take off. Whenever you want to take a day off, this is what you do. Spend some time for yourself. Sit down, daydream. And I know it is crazy that I have to come and tell me this. Because all this time when you were young, everybody was said, why are you daydreaming? Like, why don't you focus on the class? Why don't you focus on the class? Why don't you pay attention? Why are you not disciplined? Right? All this time, this is what everybody was. Everybody was disciplining you. Everybody was telling you, hey, you need to pay attention in the class. How often do you think your kids are, if you have kids who had issues at school, or let's say if you know a kid who had issue at school, how often do they send a kid to school because, oh my gosh, this kid is too empathetic. He's too loving. Never, right? This kid is too creative. And nobody's paying attention to any of that stuff. Everybody is paying attention to lack of discipline. The kid is not disciplined. Oh my gosh, can you go fix it? Do you think anybody look at the kid and say, oh my gosh, this guy is so kind, I just want to recognize this kid? It doesn't happen in schools. They just focus on discipline. Because we are so disciplined, we are thinking, we don't get to turn off this thing that is happening in our head. So, bottom line, the step is find times where you could turn off. Turn off from this, from this, from this. Just sit alone, daydream, imagine, fantasize. Think about the world, think about your life, think about your business, think about how to more effectively market your business, and so on and so forth. That's it. That's all I wanted to share with you. If you're on YouTube, subscribe to my channel if you want. Why not? Subscribe it. You're not going to lose any money. We are not charging any money for today. If you are from Facebook, somebody will put my link below. Just go ahead and use the link and subscribe to YouTube channel, or not, or like it, ask, comment, share it with people, or not share it with people. But the bottom line is one thing for sure: find time. Find time to think about stuff. Find time to be bored, because a bored mind is a workshop of angels.
You had to go through some crazy experience in your life. I understand that, but you can change that today.